I'm doing this traditional key lime ingredients, but not quite the same as graham crackers. I'm going to do a pastry flour crust, which is I'm going to do in the food processor, and then I'm going to make the meringue on the stove, which I'll show you later. And I'm going to use this old-fashioned juicer that I got years ago in the antique store. I'm going to squeeze half a cup worth of limes for my filling, which I'll show you all those steps. But again, I'm going to start with this food processor and make the pie crust instead of using just the bowl and a pastry cutter. I'm going to make it in this food processor with some almonds, and it's going to have half a cup of almonds, cup of flour, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 1/4 of a cup of butter, and 1/4 of a cup of shortening. Put that right in there. All right. And this is going to go in the oven for 10 minutes at a preheated oven. It's preheating now at 325 degrees. We're going to cook the crust a little bit first, and then I'm going to do the filling. So I'm going to let you watch me make this. I'm going to food process this. I'm going to turn it out on the countertop, on a floured countertop, and I'm going to make a pie out of it. But I'm going to spray this with vegetable oil before I put the dough in. So I'll let you watch me do this. Oh, another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of cold water in there. We're going to keep on hand about 1/4 of a cup of cold water to stick into the dough to stick it all together. But we'll see how we do with the butter and the shortening. We don't want to put too much water in there. All right, let's get this thing going. So I'm going to take a look at it, see what I got. I'm not going to put my hand in there. Boy, I can see the almonds in there. It looks great. Oh, that's terrific. See, it's like a sand. See that? It's like sandy, but I'm not putting my hand in there. Now I'm going to pour a little bit of water as I pulse this. Let me just put it on that. And we're going to start with a little bit of water and see what we get. Probably a couple tablespoons. Yeah, it's starting to make a nice dough. Plenty of water. Don't need any more than that. Look at that. See how it's cleaning the sides? And it's coming to a little ball. So I think I'm ready to roll it out and put it in the pie pan. So I'm going to shut this off for now, and I'll come back in a couple minutes. All right, so I'm going to show you. Here's the dough. It's resting. It rested for about 15 minutes. And I'm going to roll it out and put it into the pie plate. But I'm just going to let you watch while I do that. See that? It looks great. So I'm just going to do a little egg wash, and I can hear the oven, I think, is ready to go for me to pop this in. I'm also going to put little fork marks around here after I egg wash. Make a traditional egg wash. There you go, in the oven. Okay, so I'm going to get some lime zest, and that's a good couple tablespoons. So I'm going to take my grater, and I'm just going to gently grate some of this right into that, a couple tablespoons. As you can see, I'm making sure not to go to the white pithy part, pith, P-I-T-H, Ugh. Anyway, oh boy, that smells good. So I'm gonna get a couple tablespoons of lime zest. Here's the pie, in for 10 minutes with the egg wash. It's gonna go off to the side to cool. When I put the ingredients inside to bake in the oven for half an hour, and then I'm gonna make a meringue, and I'll show you how I do that. So here we go. We're gonna cut these and juice them so you can see this happen. We want a half a cup. These are fresh. I'm gonna let you watch. Yeah, about 3 large limes, pretty good size. And there's my half a cup, so that's gonna go off to the side. Now I have here 3 eggs that I'm gonna beat. All right, so we're gonna combine all of this in a saucepan. We're going to stir it on the stove, making sure that we're vigorously whisking it, keeping an eye on it at all times. Nice treat. And a cup of sugar and 2 tablespoons of butter. And 6 tablespoons of cornstarch. I'm going to whisk all this together. Okay, so I have my pie resting, and I'm going to keep my filling going and keep it over a medium heat. Actually, I have this on, I have this on a 4, just below medium for the stove. And I'm going to thicken this and then pour it into this pie crust. And I'm going to bake that for 30 minutes. Then in the meantime, I'm going to make a meringue, which I'll show you how I do that. And top that, it's going to go back in till the meringue browns, turns a nice golden color. So you got to keep your eye on that, and I got to double check the temperature when I do the meringue. But the butter's starting to break down, and I'm just going to let this thicken. So here it thickens. Look how it thickens so much. And see how we have a gap here? This is going to rise up a little because of the egg. But that's where your meringue is going to fill in. So you'll have a nice look of crust to the meringue. So we're going to make sure we spin this around. Looks really good. Oh, it tastes great. It's very warm right now. My finger's going to get burnt in a second. So I'm going to smooth this out. Put it in the oven. I put some aluminum foil on top. I got another 20 minutes to go. It smells really good. I can start to smell the almonds in the dough. And I checked underneath. I peeked underneath. It's doing great. The reason for the aluminum foil is so that you don't burn your crust. And I don't want to overdo the stuffing as well. I just want to brown the pie crust and solidify the filling. And then again, I will do the meringue later. Well, here it is. I pulled it out of the oven. As you can see, look at that crust. Nice and golden brown, and the center is nice. I kept the aluminum foil not to overcook the top, and then I took it off the last 5 minutes to make sure I got a good brown on my crust. If you think it's slowing, your oven is a little slow, you can beef it up to 350 for the last 10 minutes or less to get a nice brown. Right, so here we are. I've got the oven preheated to 350. I separated eggs, not that way. I separated the yolks from the white, and we're gonna put that aside, use it for another recipe, put it in the fridge. I've got a 1/3 cup of water, 4 egg whites, of course here's my pie. I've got 1/8 teaspoon of cream of tartar, and half a teaspoon of vanilla. And there we go. I'm gonna put it into the water. 1/3 cup of water. And so I'm going to vigorously beat this until it forms white peaks. They also ask you to put in some half a cup of super fine sugar, which is what do you call that? Confectionery sugar, which I need to get. Yeah, they call it powdered sugar, but super fine sugar. And what they want of that is half a cup. So they want a half a cup of super fine sugar, confectionery sugar. And I'm going to do a little bit less. I'm doing about a fourth because I don't like things too sweet. But in between, we're going to add this powdered sugar. But let's get started. So as you can see, we're getting peaks. See them? Little peaks. So I'm going to stop there. And they said to make sure that your pie is warm, or not hot, but warm, not cold, because I guess there's a problem with the meringue splitting from the filling. And so when you slice it, it'll slide off. You don't want that to happen. And we're going to gently put the meringue on the pie, and then it's going to go in the oven for 20 minutes, but I'm going to keep an eye on it just in case. I don't want it to burn. So let's put on this meringue. Smells terrific. And then what you want to do is you want to put little peaks in there so you get some nice decoration. You'll see what I mean when it starts browning. Some people put a ton of egg whites on theirs. Okay, here it is. I got it out of the oven. I'm going to let it cool for about an hour at room temperature, and then I'm going to pop it in the fridge for at least 2 hours. Then it's going to be for dessert, and I'll cut a slice and show you at that time. But it looks really good. It smells great in here. Nice color.